It's midnight and you're tuned into Nightline with me, Muhammed, Ahmad, Hamdan. Here are the top stories. Malaysia is firm in defending freedom in the South China Sea. And 20 houses vacated following landslide in Taman, Malati. Good morning. Malaysia is firm in defending the freedom of the South China Sea in accordance with the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim emphasised that Malaysia will maintain its claims and stance regarding areas owned by the country. Anwar said this during Minister's question time in the Dewan Rakyat on Tuesday. He also noted that the border dispute extends beyond China's claims, highlighting the complexity of the situation.
Malaysia punya isu dengan semua negara jiran, dengan Thailand, dengan Filipina, dengan Indonesia, Singapura umpamanya, ya, dan Brunei, ya. Dan sebab itu kita kurang setuju bila permasalahan pertelingkahan sempadan ini hanya dirojok pada satu negara, umpamanya China. Padahal kita punya masalah.
Datuk Seri Anwar reiterated that Malaysia's approach to addressing border issues is through negotiations, including Petronas's oil drilling in Kasawari.
Sebab itu penerusan cari gali oleh Petronas termasuk di kawasan Kasawari itu diteruskan walaupun dibangkitkan oleh negara China. Kita kata kita akan teruskan, tetapi tidak pernah menutup ruang untuk berbincang dengan mana negara.
Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Anwar reiterated that he had never issued directives or interfered in any investigation by the Malaysian AntiCorruption Commission, MACC. He said the government led by him will always uphold the principle that every enforcement agency, including the MACC, should be independent and transparent.
SPRM sendiri telah membuat kenyataan yang tegas menafikan tomahan tersebut kerana apa yang berlaku hanya arahan umum yang saya lakukan termasuk di Parlimen bahawa saya mahu SPRM, LHDN, PDRM, badan-badan penguat kuasa bertindak tegas memerangi rasuah secara tegas tanpa tolak ansur.
Bloomberg previously claimed that Anwar asked the MACC not to investigate his former political secretary, Farhaj Wafa Salvador Rizal Mubarak, in connection with the purchase of shares. The Prime Minister's office and the MACC had described the Bloomberg report as defamatory. Anwar said he would leave it to the police to handle Bloomberg's allegations. He said if the news agency had erred, the Attorney General's chambers will take further action. In other news, several ASEAN countries have shown interest in joining the Brics grouping after Malaysia expressed its intention to be part of the economic bloc. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim told the Dewan Rakyat on Tuesday that ASEAN has no intention of becoming an arena for the power struggles of major powers, and the bloc will maintain its focus on the regional economy with dialogue partners to ensure relationships between member countries will not be jeopardized.
Dulunya Amerika dan Soviet Union, sekarang ini Amerika dengan negara China. Sebab itu hubungan kita dengan negara China terus kita tingkatkan, dan sekarang apabila kita mendekati Brics dan beberapa negara ASEAN sudah mengambil keputusan yang sama.
He said this in the Dewan Rakyat during the Minister's question time. The approach is important to ensure the stability of ASEAN can be preserved, especially in facing the current geopolitical challenges. At the same time, Malaysia also gives emphasis on strengthening the ASEAN Free Trade Agreement with dialogue partners. This is in addition to improving digital connection and energy grid between member countries. For the record, intra-ASEAN trade has currently reached $3.5 billion. Moving on, several areas in the Klang Valley were hit by flash floods following a heavy downpour on Tuesday morning. The heavy rain also caused a landslide in Taman Malati, forcing residents of 20 nearby houses to vacate their homes. Ampang Jaya Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Muhammad Azam Ismail said police were alerted to the landslide, which occurred near Jalan E6 at 10:30 a.m. The incident left 20 houses cut off from the main road, damaged a car and toppled a guardhouse. However, there were no casualties or structural damage to the nearby homes. Based on an initial safety assessment by the Mineral and Geoscience Department (JMG) and the Public Works Department (JKR), it was found that ground movement at the landslide site is still ongoing. As a result, the site has been designated as a high-risk area, and residents along Jalan E6 have been instructed to evacuate to a multi-purpose hall at Jalan E5 for the time being.
Hasil dapatan pihak kami mendapati bahawa masih lagi terdapat pergerakan tanah di lereng Bukit Terbabit. Jadi sehubungan dengan itu beberapa tindakan telah diambil.
Authorities have also placed tarpaulin sheets over the affected area to slow down soil movement on the slope. Work to clear debris on the affected road has also been carried out. Another assessment will be conducted on Wednesday to determine whether it is safe for the affected residents to return to their homes. Meanwhile, the landslide in Taman Malati was caused by a blocked drainage system in Jalan G2. Works Minister Datuk Seri Alexander Nantalinggi said that he had directed the Slope Engineering Branch of the Public Works Department to carry out a detailed assessment of the situation in Taman Malawati. The minister said the Slope Engineering Branch had issued a danger warning to the Public Works Departments of Gombak and Hulu Langat on Monday afternoon, as well as to representatives of the Ampang Jaya Municipal Council. He urged all residents in the affected area to comply with the authorities' instructions. Now, the continuous downpour since 9 a.m. on Tuesday also caused several areas in the federal capital to be affected by flash floods. Waterlogged roads also caused traffic congestions around the city, leaving some motorists stranded in the flood waters. It was reported that the Sungai Bunuh security alarm system was also triggered after the rising water reached the dangerous level. According to the Kuala Lumpur City Hall, DBKL readings from the city centre's weather station showed over 114 millimetres of rainfall per hour, almost double the normal reading of 60 millimetres per hour. 13 major roads across Kuala Lumpur were reportedly inundated due to overflow from several main rivers, including Sungai Batu, Sungai Klang and Sungai Gombak. Among the affected roads were Jalan Perak, Jalan Traverse and Jalan Parlimen heading to Bukit Aman, which caused the Dewan Rakyat sitting to be adjourned to 10:30 a.m. as some members of parliament were caught in the floods. University Malaya was also forced to cancel classes after its compound was heavily flooded in the morning. However, the situation has improved and all roads entering and exiting the main campus have been reopened after the flood water receded. Meanwhile, a video went viral on social media showing children at a kindergarten in Kampong Klang Gate, Gombak, trapped by floods on Tuesday and standing on tables in a classroom to escape the rising water. Some of the children were also seen crying as the water level rose. The Selangor Fire and Rescue Department immediately dispatched a team to evacuate the 21 pupils and 4 teachers after receiving a report of the incident at 10:28 a.m. However, floodwaters were beginning to recede at the time of the rescue, and the children were reunited with their parents later in the morning. Now, the Federal Territory's Muti Bill 2024 was not drafted hastily. The bill was also not influenced by certain parties. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Religious Affairs, Datuk Muhammed, explained that the drafting of the Muti Bill is an initiative by the government to dignify and empower the Mufti institution in the Federal Territories. In his social media post on Tuesday, the minister said with such empowerment, the management of fatwas and the development of Islamic law can be administered in an orderly, transparent and credible manner with the aim of improving the effectiveness of Islamic governance in Malaysia. He went on to say that the Prime Minister's Department for Religious Affairs refute claims by certain parties that the Mufti Bill was drafted hastily and influenced by certain quarters. The Committee for Drafting the Mufti for Federal Territories Bill was established in 2021 to study and draft a specific act for the Mufti. The drafting committee comprises representatives from the Federal Territories Mufti Office, JAKIM, the Attorney General's Chambers, the Malaysian Sharia Judiciary Department, the Federal Territories Sharia Court, the Federal Territories Islamic Religious Council, and the Selangor Mufti Department. The Mufti Bill has undergone a detailed and lengthy drafting process to ensure that a comprehensive and well-ordered bill is prepared in line with the federal constitution and applicable laws. All parties have also been advised to be cautious with any statements not based on facts, as they could create polemics over this noble initiative. In Terengganu, the driver of the sports utility vehicle SUV involved in the road accident that claimed the lives of 3 University Technology Mara UiTM students last Wednesday was charged with 3 counts of murder in the Dungun Magistrates Court on Tuesday. However, no plea was recorded as murder cases are under the jurisdiction of the High Court. 49-year-old Nurizan Ismail was accused of committing murder by causing the deaths of Muhammad Akmal Matukirin, Ku Adib Aizat Ku Azmi and Khairil Anwar Jamaluddin, aged 20 to 25. The offences allegedly occurred at Jalan Pantai in front of UiTM Dungun on October 9th. If convicted, the mother of 3 faces either a death sentence or imprisonment of up to 40 years, as well as 12 strokes of the cane if not sentenced to death. Magistrate Nur Amira Fatihah Osman ordered the woman to undergo a mental examination at Permai Hospital in Johor Bahru and set November 17th for case mention. Meanwhile, Nurizan was also charged in the Kuala Terengganu Sessions Court with the attempted murder of 20-year-old Muhammad Ahmad Danish Muhammad Ridwan at the same location and time. Judge Muhammad Zul Zakikuddin Zulkifli also ordered her to be sent for psychiatric evaluation at Permai Hospital and set November 18th for mention of the case. In the 7:35 p.m. incident, it was reported that Nurizan rammed into 2 motorcycles ridden by the 4 students who were on their way back to their campus in Kampung Sarahujung. 3 of them, Ku Adib Aizat, Khairil Anwar and Muhammad Akmal, died at the scene, while Muhammad Ahmad Danish sustained severe injuries. Police have crippled a drug trafficking syndicate with a seizure of 652.4 kilograms of yaba pills and 2.6 kilograms of heroin worth an estimated 49.17 million ringgit in Kelantan. Bukit Aman Narcotic Crime Investigation Department NCID Director Datuk Seri Kao Kok Chin said this is the biggest seizure of yaba pills by the police in the country so far this year. In a media conference in Kota Bharu on Tuesday, Kao stated that the drugs were discovered during a raid at her house in Salo, Pasir Mas on October 7th. A 32-year-old man believed to be a runner for the syndicate was also arrested during the operation. Authorities also seized 2 cars and a motorcycle worth about 61,000 ringgit. Initial investigations revealed that the suspect received 100 ringgit for every pack of drugs delivered to buyers. The seized pills and heroin are sufficient to cater for 6.78 million drug users. The syndicate's modus operandi was to use rented premises to store the drugs before distributing them to the local market, particularly in the East Coast states. Police believe that the syndicate has been active since June this year and smuggled the drugs in from Thailand. The suspect, who tested positive for benzodiazepines and has 2 drug-related criminal records, has been remanded for a week. Efforts to track down the remaining members of the syndicate are ongoing, with several individuals connected to the group already identified. The case is being investigated under the Dangerous Drugs Act. Hezbollah says it will cause Israel pain. This and more from the Foreign Front when we return.
Mungkin hadiah juga dari dia untuk saya.
Berusaha jugalah kalau boleh nak rumah sendiri ya.
Ribuan terima kasih, bagi saya satu hadiah besar.
Mak kita dah tunggu lama dah, rumah baru.
Gembira benar. Marilah dianjur kasih ni dengan Tengok TMB ni memang TikTok lah sini, selesa sangat.
Berani menyelam ke lautan? Planet Shark.
Mizumo follows the birds to the kill.
Ikuti si Raja Hutan memburu dalam Africa's Hunters musim kedua. Juga bertahan dalam perubahan cuaca yang ekstrim. Chasing the Rains. Semuanya setiap Isnin, Rabu dan Khamis 5 petang. Di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Onto the foreign front. Hezbollah's deputy chief, Naim Qasim, on Tuesday said the group would inflict pain on Israel. But he also called for a ceasefire as a conflict rages between them in South Lebanon. In a recorded speech, Naim said the solution is a ceasefire, but they are not speaking from a position of weakness, for if the Israelis do not want that, they will continue. He also said Hezbollah reserved the right to attack anywhere in Israel because its enemy has done the same in Lebanon. There was no immediate comment from Israel. Earlier, at least 21 people have been killed and 8 others injured in a rare Zionist airstrike in northern Lebanon. The strike hit a residential building in Aitu, a predominantly Christian village far from the areas where the military has carried out thousands of strikes. Meanwhile, dozens of Palestinians have been killed in Zionist attacks across the Gaza Strip on Tuesday, including in Jabalia in the north, where the Israeli military launched an offensive 11 days ago. Gaza's Ministry of Health said at least 55 people were killed in the past 24 hours in the enclave, with at least 12 bodies recovered after an Israeli attack near Al-Fallujah in the besieged Jabalia refugee camp. In a separate incident, Zionist forces attacked the Birkat Abu Rashid area of the camp, killing at least 3 people and wounding several others. In the aftermath of the attack, rescuers were seen frantically helping survivors exit from a heavily damaged building, with one man carrying an injured child. The South Korean military on Tuesday said North Korea had blown up sections of the deeply symbolic roads connecting it to the south. According to South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff, the North detonated parts of the military demarcation line, MDL, at around 12 p.m. local time. However, there was no damage to their military, and their forces have conducted counterfire in areas south of the MDL. The country's unification ministry then denounced the destruction of the roads, labeling the move very abnormal and strongly condemning the action. The blasts came a day after North Korean leader Kim Jong-un called a meeting with his top military and security officials and accused its neighbor of sending drones carrying propaganda leaflets over Pyongyang. While the two roads have long been closed, analysts now say their destruction indicates that Kim is no longer willing to negotiate with South Korea. Taiwan's defense ministry on Tuesday detected a record number of aircraft surrounding its territory as China carried out massive military exercises. According to the ministry, 153 Chinese aircraft were detected around Taiwan in a 25-hour period between Monday and Tuesday. Of those, 111 warplanes crossed the median line, an informal demarcation point in the Taiwan Strait that Beijing does not recognize, but until recent years had largely respected, and entered Taiwan's air defense identification zone. In response to the latest incursions, Taiwan's defense ministry said it employed its own aircraft, navy vessels and coastal missile systems to monitor the activity. Meanwhile, China said its military drills were intended as a stern warning to independence forces in Taiwan and came days after the island's new president, Lai Ching-te, gave a speech vowing to protect Taiwan's sovereignty in the face of challenges from Beijing. winning start for Aaron Wuyik. Action from Denmark Open right after this breather.
내 이름은 도봉순.
Syoknya berkedrama di Cam Sarang TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Firdaus Mokhtar telah mengenali kekasih beliau sehingga membawa kepada kehamilan pada Nur Fazlina.
Dia dapat idea untuk samun seorang bernama Hussein.
Kematian abang kandung sendiri, dia boleh simpan rahsia, selepas tahun lebih tu dia dedahkan kepada polis.
We're back with sports. Badminton, the 2024 Denmark Open. National men's double shuttlers Aaron Chia, So Woo-yik survived a scare against Japan's Kenya Mitsuhashi Hiroki Okamura before booking their spot in the second round on Tuesday. Defending champions Aaron Woo-yik were pushed hard by the world number 19 Japanese duo and had to use all their experience to eventually prevail 28-26 in the first set. The world number 4 duo, however, did not look back in the second set, winning comfortably 21-11 after 48 minutes on court in the first round. The Paris Olympics bronze medalists will take on the winner of the match between teammates Man Wei-chong, T. Kai-won and England's Callum Hemming, Ethan Van Leeuwen next. However, the same cannot be said for mixed doubles pair Go Sun-hwa, Chevan Lai Jemi, who suffered an early exit after going down 21-9, 22-24, 10-21 to French pair Tom Jikel, Delphine Delroux in the first round. Meanwhile, professional men's singles shuttler Lee Zijia has withdrawn from the tournament due to an ankle injury. In a statement posted on social media, Team LZJ said the 26-year-old sustained the injury during the quarter-final match against Japan's Koki Watanabe in the Arctic Open last week. The statement added that Zijia arrived in Odense on Sunday, still hoping to play in the Denmark Open despite the injury, but discomfort around the ankle had prevented him from performing at match-level quality. Zijia was due to face Japan's Kenta Nishimoto in the opening round of the World Tour Super 750 tournament on Tuesday. Due to the injury, Zijia has also slipped to world number 7, dropping out of the top 5 for the first time in 8 weeks. And turning to football, the 2026 AFC World Cup qualifiers. South Korea secured a 3-2 win over Iraq at home on Tuesday, as Hong Myung-bo's side registered a second win in a row to move clear at the top of Group B. Oh Se-hun put the Koreans ahead 4 minutes before half-time after slotting home from close range. However, Iraq drew level just 5 minutes into the second half through Iraq's Ayman Hussein's overhead kick. Under pressure, the hosts fought harder and restored their lead in the 74th minute through On Hyun-gyu. Lee Jae-sung then scored his side's third 9 minutes later to leave Ibrahim Bayesh's 95th minute goal as nothing more than a consolation for Jesus Casas' team. The win took South Korea to 10 points, with Iraq 3 behind as the Taegyeok Warriors moved a step closer to sealing a place at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Ex-senior executive of oil and gas firm arrested over bribery. The details when we come back.
Annyeong Cinggu! Masa untuk K-drama. Dear M. Strong Girl Bongsun. Descendants of the Sun. Layan drama Korea pilihan anda setiap Isnin hingga Khamis 11 malam dan ulangannya Jumaat dan Sabtu 5.30 petang Di Trump Sarang, TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton. Memang debak lah.
Berani menyelam ke lautan? Planet Shark.
Mizumo follows the birds to the kill.
Ikuti si Raja Hutan memburu dalam Africa's Hunters musim kedua. Juga bertahan dalam perubahan cuaca yang ekstrim. Chasing the Rains. Semuanya setiap Isnin, Rabu dan Khamis 5 petang. Di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Nightline continues. The Malaysian AntiCorruption Commission MACC has obtained a remand order against a former senior executive of an oil and gas company suspected of accepting 370,000 ringgit in bribes to secure consultant contracts. Magistrate Irza Zulaika Rohanuddin granted the remand effective until October 18th this year following a request by MACC at the Putrajaya Magistrates Court. Investigations reveal that the suspect allegedly solicited and accepted bribes from 4 individuals to appoint them as expert geology consultants for his company. The consultants were paid between 750 ringgit and 2,100 ringgit per day, depending on their expertise. The suspect is believed to have received the bribes through bank transfers ranging from 150 ringgit to 500 ringgit per day into his account. MACC's Senior Director of Investigations, Datuk Seri Hishamuddin Hashim, said the case was being investigated under the MACC Act 2009. A married couple pleaded guilty in the Taiping Sessions Court to abusing a 6-year-old boy. The 48-year-old man, who is the victim's biological father, and his 33-year-old wife, the boy's stepmother, made their plea before Judge Nabisha Ibrahim. They were charged with exposing the child to physical injury at a house in Ladang Kalumpang, Baganserai between February and October 10th this year. The couple faces charges under Section 31(1)(a) of the Child Act 2001, read together with Section 34 of the Penal Code. Upon conviction, they could face a maximum fine of 20,000 ringgit imprisonment. Upon conviction, they could face a maximum fine of 20,000 ringgit, imprisonment not exceeding 10 years, or both. The court did not grant bail for the male accused, but ordered his wife to undergo a psychiatric evaluation. The case was set for mention on November 14th. And lastly, a 54-year-old man fell prey to a tiger attack at dawn when he went out to answer the call of nature in Great Perak on Tuesday. State Police Chief Dato' Azizi Mat Aris said police were alerted to the incident near the Great Jeli East-West Highway at 8:25 a.m. The victim, a heavy machinery operator, was mauled by the tiger while heading to the outdoor toilet at the workers' quarters in Bagan Balak, where he was staying. The incident, believed to have occurred at around 5 a.m, was witnessed by the victim's wife, a Thai woman. She reported hearing a roar, and then, when she opened the door to their quarters, she saw a tiger dragging her husband into the bushes. A team of personnel from the police and the Wildlife and National Parks Department, Perhilitan, arrived at the location at 10:30 a.m. to begin a search operation. The victim's body was later found with severe injuries to his left leg and neck around noon, about 100 meters from the workers' quarters. The case was classified as sudden death, and the body was sent to Greek Hospital for post-mortem. Concludes Nightline this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look as Malaysia played host to a pair of German naval vessels on Tuesday, highlighting Germany's expanding presence in the Indo-Pacific region. With that, I'm Muhammed Hamdan. Thanks for watching and stay safe.